Hey everybody, it's Brittany, aka Oklahoma Soda Gal, one of your Thunder aunties, here with your other Thunder auntie, Paula. How you doing, Paula?
Good. I'm good. Trying to enjoy this weather. My voice is back a little bit, so I apologize if it's still gravelly, but I'm feeling much better than I was at the new year.
Hey, you know what? It's definitely a much better voice. And it doesn't sound like you're coughing right now, so that's also a big plus.
That's cute. Just wait. I've got like 7 minutes till my next one. It's fine.
Hey, at least they're, coming in like, several minutes apart spurts
Yeah.
instead of like the last time we were recording. It was a
Oh my
rough time for
gosh,
me.
that was insane. Oh, so how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I went and picked up a new keyboard from
Ooh,
somebody a couple towns over. I bought off a Facebook Marketplace, getting back into some music.
nice.
So trying to just live a full life. Got my nails painted nice and purple in honor of Minneapolis this week. So
That's
um
very thoughtful. Yeah.
just trying to make the best of everything. And all we can do is enjoy the days that are in front of us as best we can. So Thunder basketball is where I find my enjoyment besides my music. So what about you? Thunder
Well,
basketball?
they've I've been a little irritated with the team of late. If any of you have caught my post-game raps, you will see that while I was happy we got the win, but it was in overtime and there was no we had a 20 anyway, we had a 20-point lead, and I'm just very frustrated with the team that got a win the other day.
Right? Yeah. We were gonna start talking about the SI Sportsperson speech that Shay gave. Let's get to that in a minute
Yeah.
because frankly, Thunder Nation, I am sure we are all in the same boat right now,
Yeah.
of trying not to freak out because we're still first. We still have a great record. It's not like the sky isn't falling per se,
No.
but after starting 24-1, going 7-6 over the next 13 games is definitely a bit of a wake-up call and has killed those vibes we had go.
But I was trying to think about this, who who put all the vibes and the pressure? It was like everybody from the outside. Mark, Coach Mark is always, 0-0. While it may have went to some of their heads, J-Dub, there was so much of it came from outside. And I was talking to Chris Lindsay the other day on Threads, and he was talking about, the Thunder and where they were. And I was like, you mean the same team that has the same, you know, number of wins and losses as they did this time last year in the season where they went to the championship? It was like we're in the same general ballpark. It's just we got off to such a hot start that I think it's messing with some people's heads.
It is, and there's narratives out there. You'll get a kick out of this. The Minnesota fans are convinced that Chris Finch yelling at the refs and getting himself kicked out is when the Thunder lost all their mojo. And
Yeah, okay.
so like they are convinced that he did it. Chris Finch personally changed the mojo, ruined the Thunder. They're never coming back.
Minnesota have an amazing court that honors Prince.
That Prince court is so beautiful.
So beautiful. And there's a lot of noise going on right now about Ja going up there. They need to take care of their own home before they start throw look at that. I'm so jealous of that. I want that cup. But
I
they need to
broke the
take care of their,
handle though. I'm so
oh,
mad
well.
about it.
But you know what? Prince didn't do things typically anyway, so you can continue to use the mug non-traditionally too.
I gotta.
Got it. But that's
Yeah,
just
I mean
funny.
they've got their own team issues to worry about. Lack of a point guard being one of them. I do think I can see them going after Ja.
I can too.
I am,
There's a lot
I
with that though.
I was kind of hoping they might go for Trey Young because it would have been fun to have Trey a little bit closer to me so I could go
Yeah.
see him some games. But Trey wanted to go to Washington, so off to Washington he is.
He gets to
Um,
be the vet presence down there now.
but yeah, the vibes. Thunder Nation, we're right. Like we're still okay. It feels weird because it all happened in such a short time period,
Yeah.
but it's also a really understandable time period for it to happen. It's the holidays, as we like to talk about on this podcast, like these guys aren't just stats. They're not just numbers on a page. They're
Mhm.
people.
Exactly.
They played deep into June. Like it was almost the draft by the time game 7 of the finals wrapped up. Like it was
Hmm.
like 3 days before the draft. Like we're
Yeah.
talking like almost July. And then, they had a very short off season. They didn't have a lot of time to spend with their families this summer. The holidays came around. Yeah, I bet some of them probably caught that flu that was rolling around Oklahoma
Yeah.
City. I know a
I mean,
couple of
it's
them were
still
out sick a
around.
couple times. Like there
Yeah.
are J-Dub's right. There are natural human things that can
Hmm.
happen to any team. They're all human beings. And yes, when the Thunder go through a natural human stretch,
Yeah.
it's gonna raise eyebrows after you started 24-1 and the national conversation was starting to be, are they gonna beat the 73-9 Warriors? And
75-7 is still on the table, Britt.
correct. So it's not likely.
It's but there's still a chance.
But honestly, like
No.
68-14 to 70-12 is still really doable and
Oh no,
not
completely.
out there.
I
Um,
think I
because this
think
is
that it
this is
was
about where our record was, like you said, at this time last year,
yes.
and we
We're
went
within one game of where we were at this time
and
last
we
year.
went 68-14. So
And
not
got the trophy.
not
You know?
time to panic. Not
But
time to panic.
I think it's when they play teams that people believe are lower than them in standings and like why couldn't you beat the Charlotte Hornets? Why did you end up going into overtime against a team with, what is it, 12 and I don't know what the record
Yeah,
was.
the
Don't,
Jazz though have been playing good basketball of late.
the
They've beat the
Jazz beat the
Spurs.
Spurs.
They've beat the Nuggets. Like they've had some signature wins.
Trust,
Um,
I heard that in the comments when the Spurs beat us 3 times in, 4 days, whatever it was.
yeah, I mean,
They were like, well, the Jazz beat the Spurs, and I was like, well, the Thunder beat the Jazz, so where does this fall in? So, as I say, every single time, anything can happen.
I had two listeners come to me with stories this week from that Jazz game.
Really?
One of my friends, I will shout her out here, Tammy Palmer. She's an old friend of mine from my Oklahoma political days. She works for a firm out of Fort Worth now and has like lived in the Dallas Fort Worth area for years. Somehow had never made it to a Thunder game in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
And the Jazz game the other night was her very first Thunder game at the Paycom Center.
Oh, wow.
And she said it was a blast and she can't believe she hadn't made it to a game before. And even though, we're upset because, oh my gosh, the Jazz took us to overtime, she said it made it for a blast. It was a great game. It was close. It came down to overtime. She got free basketball.
Yep.
So for the fans that were there, it was a great experience. Another friend of mine, had courtside seats near the Utah bench.
Uh-huh.
And so he was sitting right by Will Hardy, the coach for the Jazz, walking up and back down the
Yeah.
sideline there. And he said Hardy kept walking past in front of him. And he was like, that Jazz coach, he's mean. He was he was yelling at Keontae George to the point that Keontae was rolling his eyes and not listening to him anymore.
Oh,
And
man.
he was like, I spoke up. He's like, I think this is a toxic work environment. And he said Will Hardy he said he said it really loud on purpose to make Will
Yeah.
Hardy hear it. And he said Hardy sat down and didn't talk for 3 or 4 minutes after that and whispered to somebody and shut up for a good solid 4 or 5 minutes. And I was like,
Good.
well, shoot, you shouldn't have done that. Let him keep yelling at him. Let him ruin their chemistry. It's your fault we went to overtime.
Well, I mean, whatever he said, they came back from a 20-point deficit and had us down by 8 in the fourth, 5 minutes left. Or maybe it was in spite of that.
But
That's what I
I
think.
thought that was funny that a friend of mine talked up so loud that he got the Utah Jazz coach shutting up for a minute.
Now, now I know you, Britt. That doesn't shock me that you might be around people that might be very vocal.
That might not be able to keep our mouths shut. Yeah, can't imagine now.
I'm just, I mean, but no, it just, I think that some people, now I was frustrated. I mean, I was happy, but I mean, once again, in the same week, we let a 20-point lead or 18, 20-point lead disappear.
Yeah,
They did come out with more urgency. I was pleased with that. And, but sustaining. Now, is it because we've got people out? I mean, we're not even talking
that's
about tonight's
definitely
game
part
yet.
of it
But I mean,
because
iHeart and Jay Will, the offensive rebounds lacking on our side. Chet can't get them all.
yeah, it's one thing to be without Chet or without iHeart, but to be without one of them and not have J Will, that really saps the depth of the front court because the Thunder are not a huge team in that regard.
No,
So we've definitely seen a massive rebounding impact over that. And I think particularly missing Hartenstein, what a lot of people don't notice with him, he's got a little bit of that Jokic kind of mentality as a center where he's not just a rebounder, he's also a screen setter and distributor. So
yeah,
he really helps set screens, get people open, and then passes them the ball in places where they're getting open. So we've definitely been missing that. It definitely changes the offense. But I think what's changed the offense the most is J-Dub. Um, and this is not a slight at J-Dub.
mm-mm.
He is recovering from wrist surgery.
Straight
And
up,
from the folks I have heard from who have had this kind of an injury and this kind of surgery, his wrist is never going to feel the same as it did before surgery, most
right?
likely ever again. You can see it affecting his shooting. He can't hit threes like he was hitting them before. The first couple weeks he was playing, he was hitting them all short. So he's finally got them. They're not all going short anymore. I've actually seen a couple back rim out now, not just front rim off.
Hmm.
Um, but there were several times in that second half against the Jazz where he was, getting a wide open look for three on a transition play and that's where the Thunder get their offense and get their open shots.
Mhm.
And he's getting the wide open look, and you'd see him like hesitate and pass up the wide open three that in years past he'd have just sat there and sank that three without a second thought.
Yeah.
And instead, you see him pass up the three, drive into the lane, suddenly realize I don't have a shot now. And now he's trying to pass it out. But by the time he's passing out of it, now their defenders are all back in place. And that
Yeah, they've
transition
collapsed
play
down.
that was offering us an open shot is gone. And I saw that several times.
What was it? Was it against Charlotte Monday night when he was mad? I can't remember what it was, and I know that there was a play and he was sitting on the sidelines and you could see him say, "That's bullshit," when he was sitting on the sidelines. But if you paid attention not to him, there was a female physical therapist there who was rubbing on his wrist.
Yeah.
Like the camera's focusing on J-Dub, but she's applying pressure and rubbing out his wrist. And it's like, okay, if we're doing this in game, yes, I know it's to keep it loose. Yes, I know. But clearly, there is still an impediment there that needs to be addressed during games. So now that doesn't explain an 18% beyond the arc 3-point percentage.
No, because Wiggins isn't hitting right now. A lot of the guys are just missing shots.
It's just
Shots they
I
can
mean, it
make,
is a
shots
slump.
they have made.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes around sometimes. Dort has finally started getting a little bit out of his shooting slump and making some of his threes again, but yeah, it's
We're
been
gonna
tough.
have a conversation about Dort soon.
Um,
I'm
I think Mark already knows that
Yeah,
conversation because his
I think so.
minutes, see,
I
he's
know.
still starting, but his
Yeah,
minutes are way down. He's only playing a little over 20 minutes a game of late, and
yeah,
he's not been in a lot of the closing lineups. He's been
no.
going with Kaysen and Caruso over Dort in a lot of those lineups. Um,
Which, as someone who, once again, 37-man roster, can't stand for when my guys leave. It's I'm not saying that at this point. I am just saying that there needs to be a conversation. But Queso, he's out tonight. You talk about, is it illness? Is it whatever? Your injury list update? Like, I mean, I'm surprised Youngblood's not starting tonight. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, it's gonna be an interesting lineup tonight. I would expect AJ Mitchell will get the start with SGA out
Yeah.
because you're gonna need a ball handler out there, like kind of running point.
Hmm.
Um, Kaysen's out, so we're gonna need Dort to play heavier minutes tonight.
Yeah.
Caruso's questionable, so if Caruso doesn't go, then we're gonna be thin not only in the front court but in the back court too.
I know.
Um,
So Brandon will probably get the start tonight,
we should see Brandon Carlson getting the start at center. Um,
which I was going to say, if he gets another double double, it's different because he'll be starting. It won't be a double double off the bench like he continues to have.
right. So yeah, tonight against Memphis, both teams have a lot of players out, so who knows what this game's gonna look like. You
I
mentioned
think all of them will show out because again, it's their opportunity to show out. The guys further down the bench that don't normally get, many minutes, I think the start will be good. The end will be the challenge when everybody's a little tired. And then, is
yeah,
Ja
because
really?
our depth isn't there tonight. So
No, it's
that's
just not.
that's one of our secrets to beating teams and keeping that energy level up is the depth. But when you have no depth, it's hard to keep those legs the whole game. So
Yeah. When you're starting your depth, you're already a little bit behind the ball, but I don't know. I was surprised to see Jaws not playing, but is it his calf strain or is it the other stories that are out and about today. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm trying not to look at my phone, so I don't know if we've got any breaking news that's happened while we're recording, but
Always.
it is not unlikely that part of the reason Jaws being held out is due to trade talks. Trade deadline is now, under a month away. It's February 5th, so now that the Trey Young piece has moved,
And
I
Trey
think,
happened mid-game.
yeah, I think we're gonna see more movement. The jaw move could happen today. It could happen at the deadline, but I don't think it's unreasonable to think that could play a role in why they're keeping him out. Because that's pretty typical for those of you who are maybe new fans. Often guys who are on the trading block, teams are careful with them because the last thing you want to have happen is you're, in trade deep in trade talks on a deal, and mid-game that guy goes and tears an ACL and now your trade's gone. So
Or, I don't know, hypothetically hurts their wrist in a game that he shouldn't have been playing in Dallas, but I'm not going to name names, AD. So,
right.
why was he in the game? I don't know, but that it didn't help his story any last night.
Nope.
I think we're in just that the time of the season where all of the first energetic burst and everything that they trained and went up, and now they're just feeling some of the grind, and people are starting to get tired and wear down some. I don't know. January is
Yeah,
always hit hard.
it's tough. And it goes to show just how difficult it is to get 70 plus wins in the NBA. Like it is not,
No, for real.
while we've been having fun with, with the vibes and the jokes and the 80 and 2 is on the table.
Hmm.
We're having fun because we're
No, that's
fans
it.
and,
It's
and we're
not, I
enjoying
mean,
life and having fun with it. But the reality is those kind of things are really, really hard to do. And
they
that's
are.
why we're holding this team to such a standard because, like, they have the talent to potentially be challenging that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, we're gonna get a little salty when we go through a 7-6 stretch that like half the teams in the league would be happy to be 7-6 in the
I
last
know.
13 games.
They would love our record right now. I mean, come on. But we have the luxury. We have the luxury to complain. So,
Well, in other good news,
good news.
I see you're wearing your Niky T jersey. Why
Niky
is
T.
that?
That's because it was announced this week by Niky T's agent that he has finished chemo for his testicular cancer.
Way to
Yay!
go, Niky T. We're rooting for
Yay!
you. We're so glad to hear you're getting through this.
Getting closer to me being there and win my jersey for him.
We've seen
But
him on the bench a lot more lately. He's been around the team a lot more again.
mhm,
There's some
doing some
footage of
shoot arounds.
footage of him in shoot arounds coming out. So he's got that nice slick bald head right now.
Yeah. Hey, Nikki, have you seen the roster tonight? How you feeling? Would you like
Right?
to,
I
just
mean,
get your feet wet again?
you're gonna play 5 minutes. We don't need a lot of just get you some game time, get you a little action. I'm
As
sure
soon
I'm
as
sure
he's
they'll
ready to
have
go.
him ready to go when he's ready to go.
And I will be so happy when that happens. So, but there was also some other heartwarming news, as much as it can be, is there's a there's a Oklahoma kid. His name is Mighty Miller, is what he goes by. And he is in St. Jude's Children's Hospital in Memphis. He has a lung disorder. And Isaiah Joe and Jay Will, when they landed in Memphis, they ended up going over to St. Jude's. And Mighty Miller wasn't able to leave his room to go to the meet and greet. So Isaiah Joe and Jay Will, they actually drove to another building to find him and go hang out with him and go see him and talk Legos and just everything. And it was just, I'm like, oh, look at that.
That's
Going out of
so
their way.
heartwarming.
I love it.
Also great that it's Jay Will and Isaiah Joe because
Mhm.
although they're technically from Arkansas, they're from Fort Smith, right on the Oklahoma border. So
Yeah.
they're kind of like hometown guys too. So that's even
I have
better.
some I have some friends in Arkansas from the Fort Smith area that watched them play in college. They were big Razorback fans. And now they are Thunder fans because of the fact that Jay Will and Isaiah Joe are here. Yes, Sarah. Hi, Sarah and Mamacita. But yeah, so I don't know. I just love it's not so much that they're even in our community doing things, which our guys are great in our community, but when they have an opportunity when when they're on the road to go brighten somebody's day, come on, make me melt. You know, can't make me hate
We
these people.
we are spoiled and lucky to have some really amazing players on our team.
It's true.
Um, and something you shared on Threads earlier was somebody shared a video of a gentleman in his truck going off about why his wife loves the Spurs.
But it's true. It's not that she's there for the stats. She's there for the cast of characters, there for the players. And I know that that's what we talk about here on the Thunder Gals. Like our players are whole people. It's holistic. It's not just box scores. It's not just what they can do when they're on the court. I mean, these people make an impact in the community, not even our own communities, they make an impact, lasting impact. Even when they leave, they still have lasting impacts while they were here looking at you, Russ Westbrook. I mean,
Yeah.
it's it's the people that drives the enthusiasm. Look how many people at LeBron James, how many teams has he been on? And people are like LeBron, 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 LeBron because they like LeBron.
Yeah.
And so they
And he's
invest in
done
players.
stuff as a player. He's reinvested. He,
Started the
paid to build
schools,
a school and
right?
like puts big money into scholarships to help kids get into this awesome school he built. Like there's just real great stuff that some of these guys do. Certainly not all of them are great, I'm sure, but
No.
you know,
I
we
mean,
want
not
to
anybody on the
highlight
Thunder. That
we
doesn't
want to
apply, but
highlight the ones who are.
right. But I just thought that was a really sweet and moving video that he made explaining why. And I think it resonates with a lot of viewers and
Mhm.
sports fans that maybe don't understand the intricacies, but they sure like watching this 7'5" alien reach across the court, you
Yeah, they
know.
do.
So,
We
or
heard that in Vegas. That Vegas crowd lit up when he got in the
oh
game.
my God. Or, maybe they have a point guard that got Sportsman of the Year from Sports Illustrated and went to Vegas to go get an award this week.
Look at that
They-
segue.
I'm so good at this.
Yeah. Which, I mean, again, more distractions too, though. Like,
Yeah.
Shay in the middle of like they had just like have a 3 game and 4 night stretch.
Hmm.
Then he like goes and has to fly to Vegas the next night to go give a speech at the Sportsperson of the Year award.
Yeah.
Then come back the next night and score 46 points against the Jazz and get the shot that sends it to overtime and like drags the team across the line on his back while spraining his ankle.
Well, he said, so Adam Francisco from the Suave Report asked him about flying out to Vegas after the game. And he was like, you know, that's not usual, and Shay was like, yeah, I don't normally jet out for that, like that's not what I do, but this was an instance that it was such an honor and an opportunity that he was like, yeah, I'm gonna fly in, I'm gonna accept and fly back out because he felt it was that important.
It is.
And
Because he wasn't
it
just
is.
like their basketball player of the year. He was their sports person of all sports, of all
Yeah.
of them.
So it was worth it to him to take the opportunity to go out and be recognized. And I don't know if you had a chance to look at any of the speech that he gave, but
I did watch a little bit of it.
he was talking about Samuel, of course. When he first got here, Samuel gave him a book, The Tortoise and the Hare. And when Shay came in, we were starting our rebuild, you know? And of course, Shay's like, I didn't want to pay attention. I didn't really think that was going to be the case. But then we win 25 games the next season, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, you don't want to think about it. You always want to have these higher hopes. But he said that after they won the championship, that Samuel gave him a tortoise statue. What was it he said? He says, that's a very Sam Presti way of saying, I told you so.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, that seems like an exact way for Samuel to say, I told you so.
Absolutely.
So
That
he says
is.
he put the tortoise statue with his MVP trophy, and so he has that. And I'm like, that is the best, you know. If that doesn't describe Samuel in the way that he relates to the players and everything, come on.
Well, and it
He cracks.
shows the kind of like the level of detail that Sam Presti operates at. And
Yeah.
like everything is part of a bigger plan, and he doesn't take shortcuts or do, reactionary moves, which is why when, you get these national pundits who, after we have a little bit of a rough stretch, do the Thunder need to make a trade? And like, do they need to go
Blow it
all
up.
in for Giannis? And it's like, have y'all been watching the way this guy manages teams? Because, like, that does not seem like a very Sam Presti way of doing business to,
No.
win a championship, open 24 and 1, and at the first sign of any trouble, oh my gosh, we gotta blow it up.
We got him. Yeah, because if there's one thing that he's known for, it's for knee-jerk reactions.
Yeah, come on,
Yeah.
y'all. Yeah, no, like I think it's just more wishful thinking from other fan bases wanting to raid our roster.
If I could tell you how many times my Mavs friend has been like, "Hey, aren't you guys looking for a center? Don't you need a center?" And I was like, "I've already got two on the injured list. I don't need a third. I'm good, thanks."
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, we're not gonna operate like that. So anyway, well, Thunder fans, uh, you know, don't overreact to this rough stretch. Yeah, we're irritated, and rightly so, but it's like that slight irritation. It's like, it's like we have a little rock in our shoe or something right now. We'll take the shoe off, we'll get the rock out, and things are gonna be fine. Guys are gonna get healthy again. J-Dub's gonna learn how to shoot better with his new wrist. It's gonna be okay.
Mhm.
And it's gonna take time for it all to come back together, something last season even, Chet was out a good, 50 games.
Mhm.
And when he came back, integrating him back into the lineup, the team did lose a few games right out of the gate. He was still getting his legs back, and like it threw a little bit of a wrench in who was playing and how, and like what time the timing on the rotation was, and that stuff happens. And they played through it, they got better, and then they won the title. So, let them
I
play
mean,
through these problems, and hopefully they'll get through it. Now, if we're back here in a month, and they've had another month of 500 basketball,
I might be more than
maybe we
irritated.
panic a little bit, but
I might be more.
I am nowhere near panic yet.
No, no. But anyway, well, I'm gonna settle in and see what happens in tonight's G League game with Memphis.
I'm
I
calling
mean,
it G
sorry,
League Plus.
G
That's
League Plus.
right.
Yeah, hey, and
We're gonna get a
that
couple
is no
players.
slander to G League because I've got Alec Caruso and Coach Mark Dagnall that came from the G League that are NBA champions here in Oklahoma City. That is not a slam. That is a full on, I believe in you.
Hey, and you know what else I've heard? Like, because those games don't have many people at them, if you want to experience what it would feel like to sit courtside in an NBA game, you can go sit courtside at an OKC Blue game for cheap. And
Yes.
like, you're gonna see NBA players coming through, you know,
And you'll see our own players. Our
yeah.
own players go, like just last week, it was AC and J Will. They were there watching the blue.
Yeah. So, if you're looking for a cheap way to get a courtside experience without having to, spend 2 grand on Thunder tickets, maybe check
Mhm.
out an OKC Blue game. Yeah.
And you can always say, I saw him win.
Exactly. I mean, imagine the fans who were standing there back in those Alex Caruso, Mark Daignault G League days, and
Oh
how
yeah.
cool that must be for them sitting up in the Thunder stands now. Go, oh, I remember when I was sitting right by those guys.
Yep.
Well, we're into January. We've got some big games coming up. Tuesday night, the 13th, the really big one coming, and hopefully Shay's able to go by Tuesday. We
Yeah.
got the Spurs again. This was originally just going to be a, local TV only game. Has been moved to Peacock because the OKC San Antonio matchups are now of national interest.
Rivalry, quote
The
unquote.
budding rivalry. So we will see if we can get a victory against these Spurs on Tuesday evening. Throughout the rest of January, we get the every other night pace from here on out until the end of January. No more back-to-backs this month, so we at least have that.
Yay.
Well, hopefully our guys get to feeling better and, we get everybody healthy soon and can get back to happier days.
Get back to our Thunder identity, as they say.
All right, y'all. Well, it's been fun. We will be back with you next week. We'll keep thundering up. We'll keep bringing you pregame previews and postgame wraps on the TikTok and the Insta and the Threads and the Blue Sky and wherever you follow us. And, make sure to smash that subscribe button. We're
That
over
button.
50 subscribers on YouTube now. Get us to 100. That's our next challenge. So get us to 100 subscribers. Follow us all the places. And otherwise, peace and thunder up.
Bye.